Damn, this thing is freaking tiny. I've just done myself so freaking bad. Ugh. This is the Lefant F1. Hey guys, it's Matt here, and this is my fourth RoboVac video. So this is quite different to the other ones I've reviewed. It's a lot smaller, and it's got this really futuristic kind of style going on right here, which actually matches across the box, the charger, and all the accessories. So let's just dive in to take a look at an unboxing of this, which I filmed, and we're gonna take a look at some of the accessories and how to set it up. Okay, so here's the box, and as I mentioned, they have this space kind of theme that goes right across from the vacuum cleaner to the charging base to the box. So they're really going along with this theme, and I quite like it. It's nice that it is a matte finish rather than glossy. But in the top of the box here, you have your instruction guide, as well as some cloths which you can attach to the back of the vacuum cleaner. But we're just gonna take it out. It's actually pretty light on first impressions, and now we're just going to take off this plastic cover, and here we have it. So yeah, it's this nice matte finish body from top to bottom, and then you have this glossy finish where the actual dustbin tray is. So I'm presuming the stickers are removable. There's a nice QR code at the bottom there for setup, and then this just pops out and is held in using magnets, and then there's a filter in there which you can change over as well, and then on top you just have two buttons. So now we're just going to take out the charging dock, and as you can see, again, that sort of matte space style finish across the design here, and then you have a glossy section at the top. I really am digging this design. I really like it. And there's this super handy part at the back to manage your cables, which you wrap around, and then you have these two metal contacts which line up with the vacuum. So the charger included for some reason was a European charger, but you're meant to get the charger according to your region. They just sent me an adapter, so I guess that kind of works, but it's not the best thing in the world to have an adapter all the time. And then you have this magnetic strip, which you can go ahead and place in door frames or areas you don't want the vacuum to go, and then it will stay out of that area. Here's the actual part that clips on the bottom, which is basically a cleaning brush. I don't really see myself using this too much, as it pretty much is just a wet cloth that's going to be wiping along your floor, and there's no soap or motors or anything going on. There's actually quite a good suspension in this. It can actually go over some pretty large objects, so no issue if there's like cables, or even if there's like a book on the floor, it can actually go over that, which is pretty impressive. And then you have these two brushes which go on. They just spin around to collect dust that the vacuum can't reach. And this glossy black strip here, I believe, is the 180-degree infrared sensor. So there's that filter included, like I mentioned, and then there's a small tool in case you get things stuck or tangled in the vacuum cleaner, although it's unlikely because this one doesn't have the rotating brush. What's super nice is they actually included this sticker on the dustbin tray which shows you how to actually use the vacuum cleaner, how to set it up, and the button configuration. So it tells you which button does what. Now obviously I'm gonna remove this because it looks kind of ugly, and I really like the design of this vacuum cleaner, so I don't want to spoil it. So now we're just gonna place this on the charger, and then comparing it to some other vacuum cleaners out there, this is a Yeti vacuum cleaner that I reviewed, and this is one of the smaller ones I have in my collection, but it's still quite large compared to the Lefant F1. So pretty impressive in terms of the form factor, especially compared to something like the D-Bot. It's really a lot smaller and lighter. The D-Bot is a lot heavier, and you do get more storage on the Lefant F1 than all these vacuum cleaners as well. So now we're just gonna scan this QR code. It's gonna take us to the store to download the Lefant app. Once it's downloaded, you just go ahead and create an account. You then power on the vacuum cleaner by holding down the button. You follow these steps. So now you hold both buttons to turn on the Wi-Fi configuration, go into your Wi-Fi settings, connect to it, jump back into the app, and then it's gonna go ahead and start pairing and doing the whole setup process. Okay, so that's the unboxing out of the way. Let's talk about how good this is. So the pros and cons basically. And I've had this for a couple of weeks now. I have a bunch of other robot vacuum cleaners, so kind of comparing this to that one. Let's start with the price. So it's $329, which I'm gonna say is just way too expensive for this. It doesn't have pretty much like half the features that the expensive ones I own have. So I'd say this is definitely not worth that price. However, there is a sale. You can pick it up for $260, which is like 189 pounds, which makes it a bit better, but it still is overpriced in my opinion. So if you can get it cheaper than that, then, you know, this might actually be worth it. And some of the features are cool, including the size, but yeah, it's just too expensive. So in terms of the design and the build quality, I must say I like the form factor. It's a lot smaller. It's only 28 centimeters in diameter and about 6.9 centimeters height. So, you know, it does get into those small places which the bigger ones cannot get into. And it does go under small low down units that my other vacuum cleaners can't get to as well. So, you know, the form factor is nice. I like this smaller design. And even though it's smaller, it has a larger capacity than all my other ones as well. So this has a 600 milliliter dustbin tray, and it just kind of pulls out like this using this metal tab and some magnets. And, you know, I really like how it's on top. It's easy to access. You can see when it's full. And yeah, I think functionally, this is a really well designed vacuum cleaner. It's got 360-degree sensors, which are infrared. Now, my only gripe is there's no bumper detection plate, which I think is really good because when it bumps lightly onto something, it knows it's there and it stays away from it. With this, it kind of just drives on into things, and even though it's driving into it, it can't detect that it's already hit it. So yeah, I found that to be a problem. I even maxed out the sensitivity of the sensor so you can actually increase it, but it really didn't help too much. It still kind of bumped into things I didn't want it to bump into. Underneath there is 3 drop detection sensors. These pretty much just stop it from driving off your staircase and just falling down a large drop. So that's good. Even if you're cleaning a table or something, it's not gonna like drive off the end, it's gonna stay safe. So I guess that's kind of a must have for these type of vacuum cleaners, especially if you live on multiple levels and you wanna like clean upstairs. But yeah, in terms of those infrared sensors, I don't think they're the best, and also it doesn't actually go ahead and map out your environment. So other LiDAR vacuum cleaners I have actually map out the room, and you can label the rooms and tell it to go to a specific room to clean. But yeah, you definitely cannot do that with this. There's no LiDAR or mapping ability. Pretty much it just automatically goes around and kind of dodges things every single time. So there's no record of where it's cleaned exactly in the room. And I found that to be a problem. So if you have like a large place and this drives off into other rooms, when it comes back to charge, it doesn't remember how to get back to the charger. So it kind of just drives everywhere looking for it. And it's super annoying, especially if you're trying to like study and it's banging on the doors and stuff. Ugh, this thing has drove me mad at some points. I really like underneath because there's no spinning brush, so you don't get hairs and loads of bits of gross things stuck in it. It does actually pick up hairs really well. And then there's also a smaller opening, so you get a higher suction power as well. This is 4000 PA, so it does have some really powerful suction, probably the most powerful that I've ever seen on one of these small robot vacuum cleaners, which is quite impressive. Now you can set schedules, so every day it will automatically go and clean up and return to the charger, which is great. For some reason, mine just seems to randomly turn on sometimes, and I still don't really know why. It confuses me. In terms of the battery size, it's about 3600 milliamp hours, which on paper sounds kind of small, but it gives you about 200 minutes of cleaning at the standard mode, which is actually pretty good. Obviously that does vary depending on how powerful you have it set to. So if it's at the max setting, you're gonna get less time. But there's no LiDAR and there's no spinning brush to operate. And this thing is quite light as well, so it's easy to move around, so it doesn't use too much power. In terms of the app, it's a pretty clean design, like I like it, it's easy to use, but I really just hate the fact it doesn't at least track where the actual charging pad is, just because it's so hard to get back to, and it gets confused sometimes. So if they could add that in via software update, that would be great. But the app pretty much lets you do everything. You can manually control it, you can change the suction power. You can also do that using the buttons on the top here, but it's just a lot easier in the app, and you can set your schedule in there. You can pair it up to Google Assistant as well as Amazon Echo, and you can also control the way in which it cleans. So it can do like a random cleaning pattern, or it can do a more organized and arranged one, which basically means it goes back and forth like a lawnmower. And then there's also a spin focus mode. So if you're cleaning like a certain spot in the room, or you want to clean the edges, there's also an edge mode. So yeah, there's a lot of standard stuff which you see across all the other robot vacuums. Really the only thing that sets this out is the smaller size, the larger dustbin tray, and the really high suction power. I can say that really does set this out, as well as the nice sort of matte finish which doesn't scratch like I mentioned. That's also a nice addition. But so if you can pick this up for the sale price mentioned or even a lower price, then yeah, this is definitely a good deal. But the full-on price, yeah, it's definitely not worth that, I can say for sure. So yeah, that's my overall review. So anyway guys, Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe, click that bell icon. We are almost at 50K, and I'll see you later. Peace.